Alrighty, here we go. I'm sitting outside doing my video today, just in case while I'm doing this video, I were to spontaneously combust from all the Aries energy. I thought I'll sit outside where it's safe and less messy if that were to happen. So that's why I'm sitting out here on the patio, and it's a nice afternoon as well, and I'm having a glass of wine with all the stuff that's going on. But yeah, so this is, you've probably been feeling it for the last few days, that things are kind of like climaxing, you might say. A lot of relationships are being tested. Some might not make it through the testing, and I'm talking relationships of husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, daughter, relationships of work, relationships of business partners, relationships of all kinds are being tested in a very big way. And the imbalance of those relationships are what has caused this climax. Because when things are not equal value exchange and it's not in balance, then you have one getting more than the other, and one is lacking more than the other. So if it's not a healthy balance, then it's creating a shift and conflict. And the conflicts are big. I mean, we're experiencing a super stellium right now, and the stellium is in Aries, which is combative, and it's about new beginnings, but you have to let go of the old in order to have the new beginnings. And so it's very combustive and just can be almost violent at this time. So the super stellium is when there's more than 3 planets in one sign and in a house. And right now we have 7 planets in Aries, which the last time, and I did check, I saw a meme that the last time we had this kind of lineup was in 1821. So I did some digging and I did check, and sure enough, on the old ephemerises, it was almost 200 years ago, or actually a little over 200 years ago, that we had these things, these same planetary lineup for this kind of energy. And what took place during that time was the U.S. took Florida from Spain. So it was a big emancipation year, 1821. The Greek War of Independence was started in March. Mexico and Peru decided to claim independence from Spain. Napoleon died. There were a lot of things that happened, but it was mostly about independence and breaking away, which makes perfect sense because Aries is that kind of energy. It's about defiance, breaking away. It's all about new beginnings, new and independence. I mean, you can't get more independent than Aries. So that would make sense where all that was coming in. So we've got all these planets that are lined up in Aries, but they're not all conjunct. The ones that are conjunct are which tomorrow, Greenwich Mean Time, for the new moon in Aries at 27 degrees is right in the exact same spot as the sun in Aries at 27 degrees. So that's a big conjunction right there, is the sun and the moon, which will highlight a lot of these relationships that are on the line. Because when someone has just let things go and go and go without really speaking their truth and saying how they really feel about something, it's coming to a head. And when it comes to an eruptive head, it's like the eruption of a volcano, and the lava overflows. And in this case, the lava is emotional energy. So a lot of emotions. Mercury is also in Aries. That is conjunct with Mars in Aries at 5 degrees. Saturn is in Aries at 7 degrees. Neptune is in Aries at 2 degrees. Chiron is conjunct with the new moon and the sun and Chiron is about our future and where we're going. And so with Neptune, in Aries at 2 degrees, that Neptune energy, which is normally ruled by Pisces, is a softer emotional kind of energy. But in Aries, it's very explosive. So be prepared for explosive conversations and conflicts. But that's not all bad. It can be positive as well, because what you were unable to do last month, you'll be able to do now. You'll be able to converge and converse that energy to whoever it is you're trying to say it to. And with Saturn in Aries, about restrictions, there's no restrictions. So it's all on the table. There's no holds barred at this time. And Mars is in Aries, which is a natural home for Aries, which is the planet of war. Mercury rules how you think. So everything is out on the table at this time, okay? And the key words here for me are emancipation. This is about emancipation from restrictions you've placed upon yourself, whether they've been restrictions you placed upon yourself because of the fear that you wouldn't have enough business, or you wouldn't have enough prosperity, or you might rock the boat in a relationship. Well, those restrictions are lifted, and it's a no holds barred at this time. So yeah, 7 planets in Aries is very explosive, but it's positive as well. There's a lot of positive things that come from explosions. Sometimes an explosion has to occur to make way and make space for something new to be put in its place. So just keep that in mind, okay? Yeah, the relationships are definitely going to be tested. Relationships of all kinds. Some are going to end. Some will be able to make it through and maybe be even better on the other side once everything is said and done and it's all brought to the surface. It can create an energy that's much more balanced between the two parties, or the two people, or the two businesses, or the two countries. So, don't be shocked if things come to an abrupt end starting tomorrow, going forward. It's combustive and dynamic energy. So, and it's very likely a lot of things will be happening in the public's scene as well. With all of this Aries energy, things are going to just explode, and then we'll have to have new stuff come in. But that's what has to happen sometimes. It's been climaxing to the apex, to where it's just at that point where it will explode, and then it makes a way for a new beginning, a new energy, and that can be a very positive thing. This energy also will have, people look at me, look at me, look at me. It wants to be seen, it wants to be heard. So, it can also be a very healing time with this Aries energy, to heal your soul, because once you clear the air about what has been afflicting you, then you can start to heal. And Aries rules the head, and the head is where we're at right now. We're at the very beginning, starting over, and that's just the way it's going to have to be. Aries energy can be very fast and destructive and inconsiderate, but sometimes that's what it takes to blaze the trail and pioneer to where we need to go. Sometimes you have to be, destructive and inconsiderate. And that's why, with this Neptune in Aries and no longer in Pisces, which is a little softer in its, when it's giving its destruction, and it's paving the way for something new. When it's in Pisces, it's a lot more considerate and thoughtful. Well, it's in Aries right now, so considerate and thoughtful is probably off the table. But we have to have that sometimes. We've got to have that energy to just blaze that trail and make a way. It's like blazing, taking a fire and blazing, like clearing out a couple of acres with fire, and then it's ready to be replanted, and everything has been burnt to the ground. That's kind of this energy, and we are in the with the Aries, the horse. This time of this year, it's the year of the horse, and it's in Aries, and it's blazing that trail. So we've got the best of Aries energy and the worst. The best is courage and risk taking, and the love of challenge and getting things done, and the negative is brutality and discord and war. Well, we already see that happening on the big scale of things. That's being driven, on the things, the big scene, but it doesn't have to be for us each individually. So the new moon is powerful, and it ushers in a fresh start. So I think that's what we need to focus on. So it's a good time for launching projects that have been simmering in the background and harnessing the fire to bring it to life once and for all. So this is a good time for that. This is a good start. And in a lot of calendars, the April time, and the solstice is the new calendar. So let's do it. Let's pack it full of powerful punch and get ready for healing and release. So that Aries energy, it's sharp, it's direct, and it's not a time to stall your progress with doubt, because once Aries starts moving, it doesn't deal with doubt. It just goes. And sometimes it goes headlong and headstrong, and that can be a problem. But this is not the time for worrying about that. This is definitely the time for harnessing that energy and to take charge, become the leader for your destiny, and not wait around for someone else to do it or for initiation. You don't have to ask. You just start doing. That's what this is all about. Accelerating growth and timelines, propelling you into major shifts in different areas of your life. The presence of Saturn in Aries with the new moon is also a time to formulate a plan to set yourself up for success. And with all that fire, you have it to back it up. But you don't want to burn yourself up in the process. So you have to learn to be discerning and use a little of that opposing energy, which is Libra, which is about balance and creativity. Okay? So that's what this is about. And be strategic and responsible in your planning. Chiron symbolizes the wounded healer in astrology. So, this is part of this Aries stellium, and the pairing is an opportunity to transform old pain into personal power and heal the wounds and triggers and insecurities and move forward once and for all. So, ritual work is good. Launching new ventures, taking action, releasing emotional bondage would help at this time and give you some really good results. Letting go of emotional bondage. And that's why relationships are being tested right now. And they will continue to be tested until balance is brought into those relationships. And if it's not brought in, then one may have to go. And it may be you. And maybe it's time. If you've been deciding and thinking that it was time for a change, but you just keep hanging on because you're afraid to let go, because you're afraid of that you won't be able to make the prosperity or be able to start that new project on your own. Well, sometimes that hammer's brought down, and life does it to you whether you like it or not. But you've been contemplating, and now it's happening. So, you can burn candles for yourself on the new moon to help yourself stay centered and at peace, and to bring forth your ideals and creative thoughts and what you've been wanting to do, because we're going to be moving into a waxing moon, which as the moon grows, so can all of the projects and energy that you're putting into this. So burning candles can be a really good positive thing, you know. And I think what's going to be happening during this new moon will set it up for the next 6 months. And that is a real important time. So this is not about stagnant energy. And that means stagnant energy in the physical form as well. This is about taking all of that fire energy. There's not a lot of squares at this time. There's lots of conjunctions. And those conjunctions work with each other, but they can be very brutal, and they can be fast and furious. And if you're not ready, it can throw you for a loop. But sometimes that's what's necessary to get you moving and to get the ball rolling on things that you've been talking about, and you haven't done anything about it. Well, this is the time where that just might happen, and ties will be severed and made way for a new energetic plan. So a lot of relationships will be ending. I've had some that ended abruptly, even in my own life in the last few months, that without any. I don't know how it happened, what happened. There was no, I had no forewarning, but once I finally released and let it go, I didn't feel hurt. I was able to say I leave it with how it is, with love, with unconditional love. I leave it with that person how they wanted it to end, even if I'll never know. It's okay. It was their choice, and they have a right to that. So just know that things will probably end abruptly for many people in many ways, in many relationships. And it's certainly okay. And it'll make way for something new. But it is a very powerful time right now. And, a lot of what you'll see on the big scale of things with war, through the media, a lot of that is being driven by all this fire energy to create change. But the change they may want to create is not good for us. So we have to create the change we want for ourselves and unplug from that matrix of what someone else might want us to be in. This is about you creating that for yourself. So you have to unplug from the big scheme of things at times. And with all this fire energy, it would be a good time right now to unplug from all of that, because it's being driven in a way that could just burn it all up. And maybe that's what's necessary right now. Anyway, I think that the signs that will be affected will be the cardinal signs, which is Libra and Aries. I think those two signs for sure with all of this energy will be affected. As far as those that will be able to let go easier, I think that would be Pisces, Sagittarius, and Aries, being willing to let go and move on, since they're pretty mutable in who they are. Although Aries is a cardinal sign, it's all about new endeavors. So I think Aries is pretty good about just letting go and moving on. And so is Pisces and Sagittarius. But the cardinal signs of Libra and Aries could be very affected by this. It can be positive or it can be negative. It's whatever you've planted in the last few months in your garden of your life, your soul, your body, your intent will be what you reap at this time. So just know that the cardinal signs of Libra and Aries and Cancer and probably Capricorn as well. Capricorn, they may see the change in their financial sector for sure. And Libra could be seeing the change in career. And so just know that those signs could be very affected through this energy. All right, I'm going to let that go. If you have any questions about how this might affect you personally and your personal sign, you can leave a comment, and I'll look into that for you and see what I can see about that. it's just too much to really put in a one video. So if you're concerned about how that might affect you and your personal sign, you can leave that in a comment and I'll look into it for you. Okay? All right, well, have a wonderful day. And I'm looking forward to this new moon and this energetic phase we're in. It's been building up, so I'm ready. I've been building myself up ready for it as well. And I hope you have been doing that for yourself too. All right, have a wonderful evening.